Somewhere beneath your feet, there could be an entire city, hidden, silent, and waiting. Imagine a place where thousands once lived, worked, and survived for centuries, completely invisible to prying eyes above. Lost underground cities sound like the stuff of fantasy or an Indiana Jones movie, right? But what if I told you that these places really existed, and their very existence helped ordinary people outsmart some of the most powerful empires in history? Welcome to History Owl. Today we're diving deep into the mysterious world of lost underground cities, where darkness was safety, and invisibility was the ultimate defense. Let's start with a question. Why would anyone go to the trouble of carving an entire city out of solid rock, deep beneath the earth? Was it madness, desperation, or sheer genius? The answer, as it turns out, is all of the above, and it's one of the weirdest, most fascinating stories you'll ever hear. Our journey begins in Cappadocia, a region in modern-day Turkey that looks like it was designed by a team of overcaffeinated wizards. Picture a landscape dotted with strange, conical rock formations and honeycombed with secret passageways. But the real magic is what lies below. Beneath the surface of Cappadocia are dozens, yes, dozens, of vast subterranean cities, hidden so well that entire armies marched over them, blissfully unaware. The most famous of these is Derinkuyu. On the surface, it's just another dusty Anatolian town. But descend a narrow staircase, and you're suddenly in a world that seems impossible. Derinkuyu plunges more than 60 meters, over 18 stories, into the bedrock. Tunnels twist in every direction, leading to wine presses, stables, kitchens, ventilation shafts, and even schools. At its peak, this underground labyrinth could shelter up to 20,000 people, along with their livestock and supplies. Think about that number for a second. 20,000 people living underground for months at a time. No sunlight, no fresh air except what filtered down ingenious ventilation shafts. Just stone, darkness, and the constant threat above. But why go to such extremes? The answer is war. For centuries, Cappadocia was a crossroads, a place where Persian, Greek, Roman, Byzantine, and later Arab armies swept back and forth like tidal waves. For the people living here, survival depended on one thing: not being found. The underground cities were their secret weapon. When raiders or imperial armies appeared on the horizon, entire villages would vanish underground, sealing themselves inside with massive rolling stone doors, some weighing up to half a ton. These weren't just panic rooms. They were fully functional cities, engineered with remarkable precision. The architects of Derinkuyu designed ventilation shafts that brought fresh air to the deepest levels. Wells provided water that attackers couldn't poison. There were clever traps, narrow corridors where only one person could pass at a time, perfect for ambushing intruders. There were even communication tunnels connecting Derinkuyu to other underground cities miles away, creating a vast, hidden network beneath the earth. Here's where it gets even stranger. No one knows exactly who built the first underground cities of Cappadocia. Local legends attribute them to the Phrygians, ancient Anatolian people who lived nearly 3,000 years ago. Others say early Christians expanded them, fleeing Roman persecution. Modern archaeologists are still debating, because these cities were so well used, for so long, that the original builders are lost to time. But Cappadocia isn't the only place where people outsmarted empires by vanishing beneath the earth. Let's travel west, to the Mediterranean island of Malta. A tiny speck in the sea, Malta has always been a battleground, fought over by Phoenicians, Carthaginians, Romans, Arabs, Normans, and more. But beneath Malta's sun-baked towns lies the Hal Saflieni Hypogeum, a labyrinth of chambers and passages hewn from limestone more than 5,000 years ago. That's older than Stonehenge, older than the pyramids. The Hypogeum started as a necropolis, a city of the dead. But during times of invasion or crisis, locals would shelter here, protected by the maze-like corridors and hidden entrances. The Hypogeum is so complex that modern explorers still get lost inside. Its acoustics are legendary. Stand in the oracle room and even a whisper will echo through the stone like a shout. Imagine the terror and hope of people huddled in pitch darkness, listening for the sound of soldiers above, waiting for the all-clear. If we cross the Mediterranean to Egypt, we find another lost underground city, one that's more rumor than reality. Alexandria, the legendary city of Cleopatra and the Great Library, had an immense subterranean world beneath its streets. Ancient writers speak of tunnels connecting palaces, temples, and the waterfront, used for secret escapes and forbidden rituals. Most of these tunnels have vanished beneath modern buildings or been swallowed by the rising sea, but every so often, construction workers stumble across a hidden chamber or a forgotten passage, reigniting whispers about what might still be hidden below. But what about Europe? Did anyone here build secret underground cities to outsmart their enemies? The answer is a resounding yes. In central France, beneath the idyllic vineyards of the Loire Valley, lies the troglodyte village of Rochemonier. These aren't just caves. These are entire homes, chapels, and barns carved into the soft tuffeau stone. For centuries, the people of Rochemonier lived underground, safe from marauding armies and harsh winters. During the 100 Years' War, when English and French armies battled across the countryside, these villagers simply melted away into their rock-hewn sanctuaries, emerging only when the danger had passed. Even more ambitious is Nauaz, a sprawling underground city in northern France. By the 17th century, Nauaz boasted more than 300 rooms, winding through nearly 2 miles of tunnels. It could shelter up to 3,000 people, along with their animals and food stores. When the armies of Louis XIV swept through the region, the people of Nauaz simply vanished, the entrances camouflaged by brush and earth. The invaders never found them. If all of this is starting to sound like a global phenomenon, you're absolutely right. Across the world, from Beijing to Budapest, people have gone underground to escape war, persecution, or just the chaos of the world above. Let's jump to China, where the city of Beijing hides a secret beneath its ancient streets. In the 1960s and 70s, during the height of the Cold War, Chairman Mao ordered the construction of a vast underground city, literally called Dixiachain, or underground city. It was designed as a nuclear fallout shelter, with over 30 kilometers of tunnels, dormitories, schools, and even hair salons. Up to 1 million people could theoretically survive below if World War III broke out. While it's not as ancient as Derinkuyu or the Hypogeum, it's a modern echo of the same idea. When the world above becomes too dangerous, survival depends on disappearing below. But let's rewind to ancient Rome, where the catacombs, miles and miles of tunnels beneath the city, served as more than just burial grounds. During times of persecution, early Christians would gather here in secret, holding forbidden ceremonies and evading imperial soldiers. The Roman authorities knew the catacombs existed, but they were so vast and confusing that raids often ended in failure. The underground labyrinth became a symbol of resistance, a place where faith could survive under the nose of empire. All of these places share a common theme. Ordinary people, faced with overwhelming odds, used ingenuity and hard work to outwit empires. But what is it really like to live in a city of stone, deep below the surface? Let's step into the shoes of someone hiding in Derinkuyu, as Persian cavalry thunder overhead. It's dark, always dark. The only light comes from flickering oil lamps, their smoke curling up toward narrow chimneys. The air is cool, damp, and smells of earth and sweat. You hear the muffled sounds above, shouts, hoofbeats, the clang of weapons. But down here, the sound is swallowed by stone. You move quietly, careful not to bump into neighbors in the narrow corridors. Food is rationed, water is precious, and every day feels like a test of patience and nerves. But you're safe. The rolling stone doors are closed, and unless the enemy knows the secret passage, they'll never find you. Now imagine the relief, the joy, when the danger passes. The doors open, light pours in, the city returns to the surface, blinking in the sun, alive and unbroken. This wasn't just survival, it was victory, achieved not by swords or shields, but by outsmarting the enemy at every turn. But underground cities weren't always just about hiding. Sometimes, they became entire worlds unto themselves. In Cappadocia, generations were born, lived, and died below ground. They developed unique cultures, crafts, and traditions. In Malta, the Hypogeum became a sacred space, filled with mysterious statues and red ochre paintings. In France, the troglodyte villages evolved into thriving communities, with underground festivals and secret feasts. Of course, not every underground city has a happy ending. Some faded away as empires collapsed or threats vanished. Others were forgotten, buried by time and neglect. There are stories of entire cities lost to history, their entrances sealed, their secrets waiting in silence. Every so often, farmers or builders stumble across a hidden chamber, a patch of floor that rings hollow, or a staircase leading down into darkness. That's how Derinkuyu was rediscovered, by accident, in the 1960s. A man knocked down a wall in his basement and found an entrance to a lost world. And what about the empires themselves? The civilizations that tried, and failed, to crush these hidden people? Their armies may have conquered cities on the surface, but the underground world was another matter entirely. It was a battlefield where power meant nothing, and knowledge of secret doors and winding tunnels meant everything. Let's bust a myth while we're here. When we talk about lost civilizations, we often imagine advanced societies wiped out by some dramatic disaster, volcanoes, earthquakes, or alien invasions. But the truth is, many of history's most resilient people simply disappeared underground, adapting to survive, and outlasting the conquerors above. So the next time you hear about a city lost to history, remember, some of the greatest stories aren't about what was built above ground, but what was hidden below. These underground cities are a testament to human creativity, determination, and the will to survive against impossible odds. Now, let's bring it back to you. If you could walk the tunnels of Derinkuyu, or sit in the echoing darkness of the Hypogeum, what questions would you ask? What secrets do you think still lie hidden beneath our feet, waiting to be discovered? Underground cities aren't just relics. They're reminders that history isn't always what it seems. Sometimes, the most amazing chapters are the ones buried deepest. Thanks for digging into this story with us. If you enjoyed this journey through the lost underground cities that outsmarted empires, make sure to subscribe to History Owl for more weird and wonderful history just like this. Got a favorite hidden city or an underground mystery you want us to cover? Let us know in the comments. Until next time, keep your eyes open. History is everywhere, sometimes even right under your feet.